Hi, my name is Victor Nwoke. In this video, I'll walk you through how to create an Azure resource group, virtual network, subnet, network security group, network interface, and a Windows virtual machine, all using Terraform inside Virtual Studio Code. We will write the code together step by step, run it, and then deploy everything into Azure. So let's get started. First, we open our Virtual Studio Code. Here, inside this folder, Terraform Azure Demo, we'll create a new file called main.cf. So this will be our main Terraform configuration file where we will define all our resources. For this demo, we'll be using AzureRM provider. If we want to explore other provider, let's head to Terraform Registry at registry.terraform.io. So I'll open my browser here, and this is registry.terraform.io. Here I'll browse providers. As you can see, you'll find hundreds of providers for different platforms. So we have AWS, we have Google Cloud Platform, we have Kubernetes, we have Azure, Oracle, GitHub, and so many. So for this demo, we'll be using Azure. So we use the provider here. So we copy this, open our VS Code, then paste into our file. So for here, we change this to features. Here we can put our subscription ID. Here you replace your subscription ID, subscription ID with your own Azure subscription ID. This tells Terraform which provider to use and which subscription to work in. Now that we have our provider in our configuration, the next step is for us to install the terminal, install it in our terminal. So we open our terminal here, then we type Terraform init. So Terraform will look for the required provider, download it, and initialize our working directory. So if you see a message saying Terraform has been successfully initialized, now we are ready to start building. Next, we are going to create a variable to store the virtual machine's admin password. This keeps it flexible and secure. So we say variables admin password. So by marking it as sensitive, Terraform hides it from logs and output, so your password isn't displayed on the screen. Next, we're going to create the resource group. So we are going to define our resource group now that our provider is ready. So a resource group is like a container in Azure that holds all related resources in our environment. So here we say resources, resource AzureRM resource group. This will be our main, and the name of our resources, our resource group should be Victor RG. I'll say East US, and our location, which should be East US. Now we've created our resource group. The next resource we're going to create is the virtual network. Now let's create our virtual network. It's similar to the resource group, but with a few extra parameters. So this will be our create a resource group. So you can see the resource AzureRM virtual network. The difference is we change the resource group to virtual network, and also this will be our main virtual network. Then we have the virtual network name, which is Victor VNet, and the address prefix, we keep it simple. And for the location, we are going to reference the location of our resource group, which is AzureRM resource group main dot location, then the resource group name AzureRM group main dot name. Next, we're going to create a subnet within our virtual network. So everything looks similar, but we are changing the naming convention. We are going to be referencing our resource group in the VNet. So here we have our subnet name, Victor subnet. Then we have the resource group name, which we are going to reference the resource group .main.name, and the virtual network, which is AzureRM virtual network.main.name. Then the address prefix we are going to be using here should be 10.0, but the prefix is /24 here, and we close our. So next we're going to be creating our network interface. Network interface allow the virtual machines to communicate with other resources inside our Azure. So for this demo, we are going to be creating an internal NIC that isn't exposed to the internet. So here we keep it simple. The name should be Victor Nick. The location, which we are going to reference the location of our resource group, saying AzureRM resource group main.location. Here we're going to be referencing the resource group name as well. In this, we have the parameters IP configuration, which the name should be internal. Then the subnet ID. Since we don't have a subnet IDs, but we are going to be creating a subnet, which will be created in our Azure. Then we are going to reference the subnet ID here, saying AzureRM subnet.main.id. Then for the IP configuration, we are creating a private IP address. So we are going to make it dynamic. So it will automatically assign a IP from our subnet. Next, we're going to create a network security group. So we're going to create a network security group. We say AzureRM network security group. So we're referencing the main. Now we're going to keep it simple. The name of our network security group will be in Victor NSG. The location should be referencing the location of our resource group as well. Main.location, and the resource group name should be referencing the name of our resource group name. So here in our NSG, we have the security rule, which the name should be allow RDP. Since we are creating a Windows RDP, so the priority, I'll keep it 100, direction inbound, access allow, protocol should be in TCP, source port should be any, then the port number range should be 3389, then from any address, and the destination should be any. So I'm going to take this off. I don't need any outbound or any ports to be open. So here, next we are going to associate our NSG to our NIC. So here we are going to reference the network interface ID, which will be AzureRM network interface main.id, and as well the NSG. We say network security group ID here. So this will reference the Azure network security group main.id. Now let's create our virtual machine. So for the virtual machines, we are going to have so many parameters, which is going to be different. So here we first of all create the resource, which is AzureRM virtual machine, Windows virtual machine, and it should be our main virtual machine. We have our name, which is Victor VM, the resource group name, referencing the resource group, the location, and the location of, we use our location of our resource group, the size. We're going to be minimize costs. So we use B to X. Now for the admin username, we are using Azure user. Then for the admin password, we are going to be using the variable for the admin which we created earlier. Then the network interface ID as well. Now we have the OS disks. We put the caching as read write, the storage account type as standard local redundancy storage. Now we also have the source image reference. The publisher should be Microsoft Windows Server, offer Windows Server. So this queue we are going to be using 2019 data center. For the version, we are going to be using the latest version. And let's save. Now, once everything is ready, at this point, all resources are defined. So let's deploy them. Now we are going to run Terraform plan, and we type our password for our virtual machine. So Terraform will review everything and show us summary of what is going to be created. Now we should be seeing the list of resources. If everything looks good, then we're going to apply the configurations. Now as you can see, we have all these our resources to be deployed. We have like 8 resources here to be deployed. Now next we are going to apply this using Terraform apply. Now we're going to type, it will run the Terraform plan again, and it will prompt us to type yes to confirm if you're going to be deploying these resources. Yes, you say type yes, and yes. Terraform will now start building all our Azure resources. This usually takes few minutes. This is going to create the resource group, then create other resources along with it. Now, once everything is completed, you can see apply complete, resources 8 added. So now we're going to go to our Azure portal. Here we go to our resource group. You can see the resource group created, Victor RG East US. Yeah, I'm going to click inside. Now you can see all the resources has been created. You will see our virtual network, our network interface, network security group. We have our virtual machine, the disk, and the virtual network, all created and connected. So if you open our virtual network here, you can see our subnet is connected, where we created the subnet here. If you go back and open the network interface, you can go to the settings, IP configuration. We can see here we have the internal IP address we created. Then if you go to our security group, you can see the network security group is associated as well. Then if you go back to our resource group and click enter our NSG, you can see the security rules we created. We allowed the RODP for testing purpose as well. So everything we wrote in code is now deployed in Azure. Now what we are going to do next is we are going to clean up our resources because we are done testing, and we go back to our Virtual Studio Code. So we run Terraform destroy, and also type the password for our virtual machine. Now it will prompt us for yes or no if you are going to be deleting all resources it's created. Now we're going to type yes to destroy all the resources it's created. Now, as you can see, is about to destroy everything here. It's about to delete all the resources. And if you go back to our portal, and you can see here all the resources are being deleted one after the other. And that's it. We just built and deploy a complete Azure environment using Terraform in Virtual Studio Code. What we covered how to configure and initialize the Azure provider, how to create and link multiple resources step by step, and how to deploy a clean how to deploy and clean up our infrastructure safely. So in the next work, we're going to take things up a level. We're going to look at how to modelize our Terraform code, how to use variables, output, data source more efficiently. We are going to split configuration into multiple files for better organization, and we are going to also explore the Terraform registry to pull in reusable providers and modules that can help us scale and automate complex environments. So if you find this helpful, give this video a like, comment, and don't forget to share. Thanks for watching. I'm Victor, and I'll see you in the next one.